Georgia, Alabama. Sports Live will be your go-to for all your favorite high school and collegiate games this fall. From the Carver Tigers to the Columbus Blue Devils, the Harris County Tigers and Northside Patriots, the Glenwood Gators and Calvary Christian Knights, the Pacelli Vikings and Brookstone Cougars, to the Smith Station Panthers and Russell County Warriors, from CVCC, Pirates basketball and baseball, and every tournament from here to Macon. We are the #1 destination for anything happening in East Alabama and West Central Georgia. Be sure to like and follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and stay tuned for even more amazing ways we will be bringing Georgia, Alabama Sports Live to you this upcoming season. We can't wait to come see you next. What's up, everyone? Thrift Barringer here, and that's Big Rich. You know him. He's Richard Holdridge, and it's the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. And we are glad to be here, presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet, GMC, Buffalo Rock, Pepsi, Gordy, Eye Care, Kinetic Credit Union, and Richard Holdridge, Facts in his head. So those are our 5 sponsors. Those facts is like EJ's Nito Stat of the Night. We got Richard's Facto of the Night, and we may get one of them later on. But Big Rich, how you doing, man?
Doing absolutely great. I feel great. I feel about as great as Michael Williams getting that $24 million contract.
Wow.
With the 49ers.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I know you're excited. And, oh, shoot, just got a notification. 49ers trade Michael Williams for a 6th-round pick to the Falcons. Oh,
I'll tell you, that Sunday night game against the Falcons and 49ers just got a little bit more interesting.
I love it when the NFL posts their schedules out. All right, we got a lot we're going to be getting into. The Glenwood Gators, I don't know if you know this or not, Richard, they're state champions, and they won in their first year in the AHSAA. We'll talk about that and get reaction. We'll also get reaction to anything else that's happening around here locally. We'll set the stage for what's coming up this weekend, and we'll even maybe have some time here to talk some NBA playoffs and anything else we can think of on Unsolicited Hot Takes. Special guest here tonight, as we always do every week when he is during his playoff run. It is going to be Brookstone coach Greg Mathis here in just a second, Big Rich. But I did want to spend about 5 minutes before we have on Coach Mathis to talk about the Glenwood Gators State Championship. So, you know, the biggest thing that I think I'm taking away from this, and I know just being, going to the school, understanding the school, that Glenwood baseball history, there is no denying it. 25 state championships in 50 years. Since 1973, that is 52 years, they have 25 state championships. There is no denying they're one of the top programs in Alabama. But many people would say the reason why they are hesitant to say that is because they played in the AISA in the private school sector, even though they would play private schools in Georgia, Florida, across the country, beat them, be nationally ranked, win 40 games a season, still wouldn't matter for most people. Well, that wasn't the main reason they made the move. They made the move to the AHSA because the AISA has become watered down. It's just not the same league it used to be, with a lot of teams leaving to go to the public school sector. So Glenwood decided to make that move. And one of the things that I know many Gator fans were ready to do is prove that they can play with the big dogs. They went undefeated in football. In basketball, they were both second in the region and really could have won the region and made the playoffs this year. And other sports like volleyball, they also made the playoffs. Softball was just close. And baseball, the predominant, historic dominant sport at Glenwood, they won a state championship. They beat every team locally except for Brookstone, even though they didn't play Brookstone. They have been #1 in our rankings from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. And to solidify it by winning a state championship and knowing what it meant and the pressure those young men had to have on their shoulders, knowing they're bearing all the former baseball players that are tired of people saying that, well, yeah, you played at Glenwood, so it wasn't that great of a career. Yeah, you won a state championship, but it was at Glenwood. Now, after this, they feel like it kind of solidifies the great teams that have come through this program. And what a season for them to beat Central in that Battle of Phoenix City, first time those teams ever face off in game one, and to end it at Jacksonville State University against Gordo. Couldn't have wrote a better script for Coach Tim Fanning. His 11th state championship in his career, 11th since 2005. So in 20 seasons, he has 11 state championship. This is his third three-peat, and this time he does it in another league. So that's two different leagues in back-to-back years. Mason McCrane, he's getting looked at by top major league scouts. He threw 10 strikeouts in that game, too. He also had great hits. Richard, he was hard to get out, and he was the MVP of the state championship series. What a performance. What a career for seniors. We know about Sykes. We know about Pender. We know about McCrane. We talk about them in every sport. I want to talk about Mac Blair, Logan Henderson, KP Andrews, Nick Torres, Reese Adams. These are key contributors on this team. And to be honest, especially Blair, Andrews, Henderson, they all had huge hits at some point in that game, too, to help lead Glenwood to the victory. And it was an awesome experience to be there. Thank you to the AHSAA and Ron Ingram for allowing us to get such a great setup. And we thoroughly had a great time, me and Chris, Richard. But what a championship for the Glenwood Gators.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a great run for the Glenwood Gators. I was on the call for game one, and that comeback down 4-1 and down 4-3 in the top of the seventh to put up 4 runs in the seventh. It really set the tone for the series, and they never looked back, and they were dominant. They talk about dynasties never graduate, and I compare this dynasty, because 3 straight is a dynasty, in my opinion, to the other sports in Alabama. You think of Thompson football, you think of Hoover basketball, but now you think of Glenwood baseball. And when you talk about baseball programs in this area, Columbus won 3 straight from 2010 to 2012. And we could put Glenwood in that category. That's now
Glenwood also won 3 straight in 2009 to 2011, Richard, during that same period you're talking about with Kyle Carter and them. So don't forget that, but you're right. I know what you're saying, though, Rich.
Because you went to Glenwood, and I know, and I've only lived in Columbus for 10 years. But yeah, going back into the history, yeah, you got to put this Glenwood team up with the dynasties in the past.
No doubt about it, man. And I'm glad I got to make the call. Richard, you called probably the game of the year in that game number 1, set the stage. Excellent job. I got so many great reviews on that call from you, and glad that Glenn was able to pull out the victory, because I know you were starting to feel like, are you the bad jinx after Calvary's game 3 loss, and then Columbus
soccer.
Of
people in this area starting to think I'm the bad jinx.
Then the Columbus baseball, but I don't believe in that, Rich. And then to get that game 1, it's like the monkey was lifted off your back too after that game 1.
It was, because I was getting nervous that Coach Mathis would not allow me to call the Brookstone game tomorrow.
Trust me, I know you'll be there with me on game 1. Greg Mathis would have texted me and said, "Listen, you can come. Don't bring Rich with you." But no, great job, Rich. I was really proud of you, man. It was awesome to be a part of. What an experience, and we look forward to seeing those Glenwood Gators get their rings, and hopefully they can have a championship celebration. But excellent season.
Let's try to make it happen.
34-5 is their record this year. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we will be right back after this. You're watching right now the Georgia-Alabama Sports Live Show that is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Get ready to smile. We'll be right back after this. Georgia-Alabama Sports Live wants to say thank you to one of our presenting sponsors, Buffalo Rock, and their partnership with everything that we do. And without businesses like Buffalo Rock, we wouldn't be able to go cover softball, volleyball games, every type of high school sport you can think of, local college games, and professional. So thank you to those businesses that support us, and specifically Buffalo Rock. And next time you're watching a Georgia-Alabama Sports Live broadcast after a nice long day, why not enjoy it with a nice, refreshing Sorry? The best lemon lime soda around. thank you to Surrey and Buffalo Rock for our partnership on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Welcome back, everyone. And now we're going to bring him on. He is the head coach of the Brookstone Cougars to talk about state championships. They call him Champ over at Brookstone, and he is trying to go back-to-back. His name is Greg Mathis. Coach, thank you so much for joining us as you do during this playoff stretch.
Guys, thanks for having me. I talked to Coach Fanning this morning. We texted back and forth. I'm just proud of those guys. I'm not a bit surprised. I was on the coaching staff of those Columbus High teams you're talking about. I was assistant head coach, and this Glenwood group that they've had stacks right up there with some of the best teams that's been around here, especially the pitching. I mean, when you can go run a Mason McCrane, which they've done a couple, they did it, run him out there on a game 3. That's kind of insane, really. You got a left-handed 6'5" guy throwing 90 miles an hour. So Coach Fanning's a good friend of mine. We enjoy sharing ideas, and proud for them. And he told me, y'all go ahead and get you another one. So that's what we're going to try to do.
Well, Coach, I'm glad you just said that, man. And you're right. That's another thing, too. When you can roll out a guy that's going to Auburn for his arm as your number 3, not many people would have him as a number 1, let alone a number 3. But you got a pretty good number 1 yourself, and Chanu Kim, who I think between him, Tyler Sykes, have been absolutely sensational all year long. Those guys have been lights out. So what's the mindset as you head into this week against Bullock Academy? I was there last week, dominant against Southwest Georgia. Chanu looked like he was on his A game. What'd you learn? Let's do this. Let's start with that game. Do you think that was beneficial to play that game against Southwest Georgia before you knew who even you were going to play this upcoming week?
Oh, absolutely, because I went to Statesboro and watched the Pacelli and Bullock, and to be quite honest with you, Pacelli was in those games. I mean, Pacelli played very well. They got a young team, and Coach Rasmus has done a great job over there. And they had one bad inning in the first game, and then the second game, I don't know, they ended the game with the bases loaded, and they only lost by 1 run. So, I mean, it's just baseball this time of the year. Everything is going to go down to the wire. And we wanted to play Southwest Georgia. They're the number 1 or 2 in AA. And we kind of got what we wanted. Got to throw about 4 pitchers, and got to see some live arms, some pretty good live arms. They had a kid that's started against us that's going to ABAC. So we got to see him. So I think it was very beneficial for us. And also, Coach Benton and I talked about it, and he's going to be playing AA. And he says, Coach, I'm not real sure I'm going to see anybody like Shanu and Brendan Neal and Luke Lowry. He said, but it was worth the trip here. And I think both teams got a lot of good out of it.
Yeah, I think so too, man. But go ahead, Richard.
Coach, you talk about having a 3-game series, playing the doubleheader tomorrow, a 2 p.m. start because there's no lights on the field. So they got to try to get these games in. When you're thinking about like who is going to be, we already know who the number 1 starter is going to be. You have an idea in your mind who you want to throw in game 2? And is there like a pitcher that you have in your back pocket just in case there's a game 3? Because baseball is just a very unusual sport. Anything can happen. And I know that you don't want to like put everything out there for those first 2 games. So what's really the strategy going into a 2-game series that's a doubleheader?
Well, I'm always gonna start off with Shanu. That's just the way I was brought up coaching. I think in the high school level, there's a little more of trying to get into the other team's mindset.
Right.
You come out there and win that first game. Now, if this was professional baseball, we might analyze it a little more and say, well, we want to. But in high school baseball, I just firmly believe that throwing your number 1 guy in the first game kind of sets the tempo for everything. And I just think high school guys, in the back of their mind, if you win game 1, that puts the pressure on them, regardless of who you're throwing. They're saying, God, now we got to come back and win 2 in a row. So we'll throw Shanu, and hopefully he'll be himself. I mean, He's won 11 games. His ERA is 0.90, I think is what he is. Opponents are batting 162 against him. And I only know all this because, this is the time of the year now when the season ends. All of us coaches have to get together and decide all region teams. And then we got another meeting tomorrow. All the coaches will be meeting over at the Beck Center, picking the all Chattahoochee Valley team. So, that's the only reason I know those stats, because I've probably been over them about 10 times talking to all the different coaches. He's had a great year. It's his senior year. He's going to be going to Barry. He committed the other day to go play baseball.
Awesome.
And I just hope he comes out and keeps, that's the thing we said, we don't want to change anything. We've been doing something right. We're 22-5 and we won the region. So let's just keep doing what we're doing. And I think we've only played 2 games in the last 11 days, and we were at practice today, and I just looked at the boys and we shut it down because of the doubleheader. And, it's really the first time it's been this hot. So we got to watch that too. It's supposed to be 92 degrees out there tomorrow. So
yes. Holy smokes.
We haven't played a game in 92 degrees, much less a doubleheader. So we got to keep an eye on the catchers. We got to keep an eye on the pitchers and just make sure all these guys are hydrated. But, we're at the point now, we're just ready to play somebody. I don't care if it's Bullock. I wouldn't have cared if it was Pacelli. We've been practicing, scrimmaging against each other. It's kind of like football. You go through summer camp and we've had such a delay. I don't know that getting a bye helped us at all. I mean, that's kind of the way they set it up this year is kind of weird. You're not getting an advantage by being a top 4 team because there's a week between every game. And I don't know. It's probably something we're going to talk about at the coaches meeting when we have our state meeting. But there was really no advantage from being a top 4 or being, 5, 6, 7, 8, getting a host. So, but yeah, we're tired of practicing. Just going to keep doing what we've been doing. Play good defense, pitch, and then maybe our bats can get hot like they did last year because we got hot right there in the playoffs. But, you're at the point now. I've been having everybody's, what about Bullock? What about Bullock? I'm like, look, everybody's good now. They didn't get here by not being any good. So you're down now to the last 8 teams, and they're all good. And I worry more about what we do than I worry about what they're going to do. So.
And then the good thing is, too, Coach, that you get to host the next 2 weeks. If you win this one, you'll get to be home. And then, honestly, you don't even leave the Columbus area if you make it to state because it's at Synovus Park. I do want to bring up another senior in Mercer Hudson. He leads your team in home run. He's got a 371 batting average. He's second in the team in RBIs. You've had to pitch him sometimes. He plays multiple positions between catcher. He can play in the outfield. He can play first base. He feels like he's your ultimate utility guy, man, and he can just do whatever you ask him to do. What is it like having a senior like him that whenever you need his number called, whatever position, whatever moment in the game, he comes up big and delivers?
Yeah, Mercer, he could be one of these guys that might try to big league people as good as he's been. I mean, he's been starting since he was a 9th grader. He started for us, and he's been a whole state player 3 years. And, he could big league, but he is a great teammate. He's always willing to do whatever we need him to do. And that's another thing, getting back to what Richard said, we got to watch these guys because we might have to pitch Mercer Hudson. We might have to bring him in. So we can't catch him and then bring him in to pitch. But it does help that if we start him off catching and we see we might need him, that we can move him to first and not be hurt, move him to the outfield and not be hurt. And then I think one of the biggest things for us this year is that we've had Gray Jones has really stepped up as the backup catcher. Gray Jones could be catching for a lot of teams.
Right.
But we're Mercer's a great teammate. He's a really good kid, got a great family. He's signed with Pensacola State. He's going to be down there with Taft Middleton. And
awesome.
So those guys will be reunited again. And Maxwell Jones signed with South Georgia the other day. This thing's starting to trickle down now. These guys are all going to JUCO now because of that transfer portal. But those are 2 great junior colleges that they're both going to. Yeah. So, but yeah, Mercer, 4-year starter, all state, all region, and just a great kid. I'm going to miss that guy. I mean, not just because his ability, but he's just a fun kid to be around. And we like to play music when we're taking batting practice. Sometimes we'll let him put his playlist or whatever on there, and he's got an interesting playlist. So he's an interesting guy, but he's a really good kid, and we're going to miss him after this year.
Coach Mathis, I do want to talk about your infield and helping your pitcher, Chi-Nu Kim, out, because he's the type of pitcher that throws that wicked 12-6 curveball that gets a lot of hitters to hit ground balls. But when you have a third baseman in Charles Briscoe and Brennan Neal at shortstop, Will Turner at second base, I mean, they have great vision. They're able to get those ground balls and fire them over to first base. How important is it to have an infield that's pretty much on game when it comes to ground? Nothing's getting out of that infield, and it's helping Chi-Nu Kim actually decrease his pitch count. Like, his pitch count is not going up there because he's not working the counts. He's getting hitters to hit the ball and put it in play, and it's really helping his pitch count. And in the end, it's actually helping the team with him getting out of innings and not giving up any runs.
Oh yeah, we well, you guys are around it a lot. I mean, Brennan Neal's a talent, so that's the guy. He's got a great future ahead of him. But Charles Briscoe and Will Turner have been over the last. They started. We got them. Them guys had to step in as sophomores, and they have just gotten better and better and better, and they work harder than anybody. And now this is their senior year, and they're finally. We had a lot of high-profile guys last year. And now this year, they're finally, they're both hitting over 300. They play excellent defense. And so they're starting to get their due, and it's kind of where we want the program to be. If you got a bunch of guys coming in and starting as freshmen, don't get me wrong, you can have a special one. But if you got 4 or 5 guys starting as freshmen, I'm pretty sure your program's not going to be one of the top ones in the state. But if your program is to where guys have to pay their dues and wait till like their sophomore, junior, and senior year to play, then your program's probably going in the right direction. So that's where those guys came from. They work with each other. They've played now. Let's see, they're going on. They have all played together. Briscoe and Turner have played 90 games together in the varsity. And Brennan Neal has played with them, the 30 this year, and played a lot last year with them too. But now we got another kid named Mitchum Kelly that comes in when Brennan pitches, and he's only a sophomore. And if he was at another school, he's going to step in and fill in for one of those 2 guys probably next year at third or second. But he's a great player. But he's right now, it's the old Cal Ripken thing. Right now, he's behind Brennan Neal. How many good shortstops came up behind Cal Ripken and didn't get a chance to play? But we're going to figure out a way to get Mitchum on the field more next year. But he's a good upcoming player. So
his name is Greg Mathis, the head coach of the Brookstone Cougars. They take on Bullock Academy, 23-7. You're 22-5. Should be a fun series. Games are at 2 and 5 p.m. tomorrow. Coach Mathis, this is your cry out to the community why they need to come out and support. You're the only team left standing. Glenwood already won their state championship. Everyone else has lost. You're it. No one else is playing baseball right now. Tell everyone why they need to come out and support the Cougars.
Well, Columbus is such a big baseball town. All you got to do right now is look at the attendance of the Clingstones, and we're back behind them and supported them. And all I can say is, if you want to, we're the only show in town right now other than the Clingstones. And like I said, hats off to Glenwood. Congratulations. And, we're starting our journey just now. We're a little bit behind them, but hopefully if you want to come see some good baseball, hopefully we can keep you entertained. And heck, all you got to do is come off West Bradley Park Drive. My brother's driving all the way down from North Carolina to watch us. So
let's go, baby.
Come on out and watch us. And I think we're going to have a good crowd. The school's going to get out, and it'll be packed, and it should be some good baseball. Bullock's got a good team. Their coach is a good friend of mine, Coach Godby, and it's going to be very competitive, but hopefully we can just keep doing what we've been doing and pull out 2 games.
We'll be cheering for you. We'll be calling the game. We're going to have it on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Me and Rich will be there for game 1. I'll be doing game 2 because Rich is going to be heading over to call some GIAA playoff soccer later on. So, Coach, can't wait to be there tomorrow. Looking forward to it, and good luck the rest of the way during the playoffs, man.
Now, I don't – Richard is – I heard y'all earlier, and Richard is not a jinx, and we want him – over at Brookstone because he keeps our concession stand in business when he
That's what I'm saying. He said, listen, that's Jeff Hudson said, we're going to treat you out. And I'm like, listen, I don't know if you want to do that with Richard. You may not have any food left. Well, Coach, thank you so much, man. And I appreciate you. See you tomorrow.
Thank y'all for everything y'all do. We appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir. That is Coach Greg Mathis. We look forward to being there tomorrow. That's my guy. I love Coach Mathis. Can't wait to be there tomorrow. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what we got coming up the rest of the week, including that Brookstone series and more right here on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. You're watching right now the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show that is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Get ready to smile. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, my name is Griff Gordy, and here at Gordy Eye Care, we have been serving the Bi-City community for 17 years. As a former state championship quarterback, I love the fact that I can watch local high school athletics from the comfort of my own home. So it was a no-brainer to support Georgia Alabama Sports Live and what they do for young athletes in our area.
And without business like yourself, Gordy Eye Care, none of our coverage would be possible to be able to cover the 16 different high schools, the local colleges, and professional teams. So we'd like to say thank you to you, Dr. Griff Gordy and Gordy Eye Care, for your support of Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And you can make an appointment today at Gordy Eye Care with the number 334-291-5125. Keep supporting Gordy Eye Care and keep watching Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Here they come. Truckloads of fresh inventory to Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. Choose from a huge selection of full-size GMC Sierras, discounted up to $13,250 off. New GMC Terrains, the popular SUV known for its safety, technology, and performance, is discounted up to $7,500 off. Enjoy. No payments until July. People from all over the USA save at Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Oh, sorry, Rich. I was just in the moment with that song. Listen, I love Jay Shields. I love that music, man. All right. Let's talk about where we're going to be this week. So first off, I do want to say congratulations to the Shaw Raiders. They are playing the state championship tomorrow. Can you kind of set that stage? You were able to talk to their head coach on Monday when we had this show. Talk about what you're looking forward to with that one. We'll be watching that on the NFHS network and keeping up with it, Richard. We hope they bring home the crown.
First of all, this Shaw team started 1-4. They flew under the radar this year. Had
and got hot.
Great players like Kelvin Reyes and Andres Bonilla. They're going to be playing on a club team. They have got such a talented team. Coach Curtis Moore, he is just so humble, and they have had an incredible journey. Jack Patterson, who's a proud Shaw alum, said this is the first Shaw championship since the 2006 championship against Peach County. And that's how long it's been that Shaw, a team that's known as Shaw U, they've had 5 championships, 3 track and field championships, and a football championship and a baseball championship with the legendary coach Charles Flowers. And now you can add, if Shaw can take on Drew Charter, it's going to be Friday, 7:30 at Mercer University. And this is going to be a tough task because Drew Charter has only given up a goal all playoffs, but Shaw has had such an incredible season so far. They actually beat Coahulla Creek 3-0. That was the team that beat Columbus in that extra time, 1-0. That was on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I know we were pulling for Columbus and possibly could face Columbus Shaw in the semifinals. But congratulations to the Shaw Raiders. Hopefully we can get 2 state champions from the city of Columbus in back-to-back years. Columbus won it last year, and we're pulling for the Shaw Raiders to win it this year.
I can't wait, and we're cheering them on, Richard. We will hopefully talk to their coach next week as a state champion.
Here we go.
Also coming up this week, as you saw, we had Columbus United talk, Richard, and how about J.D. Hester, Michael Hitchcock, Alini Hitchcock, Paxton Bush, Brett Teach, and the rest of the staff at the Columbus United FC. They're finally home openers here. And Richard, you have the pleasure, which I don't know why you haven't made the post yet, that you are going to be the voice of all Columbus United broadcasts on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, except for one. And I know you're excited about it. Last year, we got on the train a little bit late, but never too late, though, as we got an ask after they had the 2,000 people in attendance. Hey, listen, we'd love to come broadcast your game. We just want to come out there. And we rode them all the way until we couldn't travel with them anymore. But their last home game that was at Connect Stadium, Richard, you were on the call for that as they kept moving on and winning and winning and winning, making it further and further into the playoffs. And now they're in a new league. So kind of set the stage and what is happening this Saturday at the historic Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, they are now in USL 2 in the South Central Division. They take on Tennessee Soccer Club out of Nashville, 7:30 at A.J. McClung Memorial Stadium. And this is going to be a season that is going to be historic. They had a historic season last year in the NPSL as they reached the Final Four, 96 teams in the entire country, and they were one of the 4 teams left standing. They just went on that incredible run in the playoffs, winning the Southern Division, the Gulf South Division, and they just had an incredible run. This year, they're going to face teams that are going to be a little bit closer to the area, like Dothan United FC, Montgomery United FC, Birmingham Legion 2, Apothos FC. There's a team in Athens. There's at least a couple of teams in Atlanta. And I cannot wait for May the 17th. They're partnering with Synovus. They're having big corporate sponsors, Scofflaw. They're teaming up with all these local partnership. And they chose A.J. McClung for the simple reason it's right there in the hub with everything else, with the Columbus Civic Center, with Synovus Park. They want to try to get the fans used to coming to that area for a major sporting event. And also, they like that idea of the tailgating. I expect a big crowd at A.J. McClung Memorial Stadium on Saturday. I can't wait. And I know that they're going to have a great season, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm just excited that Coach Brett Teach is back for year 2. He's just an outstanding coach, great development of talent. And you got to treat this like minor league baseball, because they've had some soccer players that played on Columbus United last year that went on to Tier 3 soccer, which is almost to USL 1. That's that league right below Major League Soccer. That's when you get into professional soccer. This is still semi-professional / amateur soccer, because you have high school kids, you have college kids. You got to treat this like it's minor league baseball, because this is basically Tier 4, where you have a mixture of international players. You've got some collegiate players. But yeah, this is basically a showcase to try to get them to play at the next level. And maybe one day we might have a player that could be playing in the MLS. We've had an MLS player from Columbus already. I mean, Marshall Leonard, who played at Shaw and Brookstone, played New England Revolution. So yeah, it's possible we can maybe get a Columbus United FC player in the MLS in the near future.
So again, 5 p.m. we'll do a pregame show. 7 p.m. is kickoff, and we'll have it right here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, Facebook, and our YouTube channel. Tomorrow we also got Pacelli boys and girls soccer, as both teams got a first round bye. The girls team is ranked number 1, and the boys team is ranked number 4. And they both had to wait to see what was going to happen in that first round. And now, as I'm pulling up the schedule, girls play at 5:30, and they are taking on Bullock Academy out of Statesboro, who beat Tallulah Falls. And for the boys, they're taking on Cristo Rey, who took down Tatnall Square. If they win, they'll probably take on number 1 seed Tallulah Falls. And if the girls win, they'll probably end up taking on, I don't know, it could be either FPD or George Walton. That's a 4-5 matchup. So we'll have both those. Richard, you'll be on the call for that. You're double duty tomorrow. You'll be going to do both those games, and can't wait to see what's going to happen with that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll have it on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
And we also have two other teams that are on the road in the GIAA soccer playoffs. The Brookstone girls are on the road in Woodstock, Georgia, to take on the Keens Academy. Brookstone was the defending GIAA champions from last season. And how about the Calvary Knights? They get a 7-0 victory over Mount DeSales Academy. As I was at their signing day, Zach Madrigal. This kid is amazing. He had 30 goals this year. He's going to sign with Toccoa Falls. He's one of the best soccer players in our area. You look at his just talent, and Rick Beach knows him very well because he played at Harris County, and his senior year decided to transfer to Calvary, and they are taking on Fulton Science Academy on the road. So
we're going to be definitely cheering on them.
Yeah.
Yep, man. We'll be definitely cheering for them. So we can't wait, and that will be again on Saturday. Pacelli, though, will play boys and girls on Friday. All right, let's do a quick break. When we come back, it's unsolicited hot take time. We'll talk about the NBA playoffs and more right here on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. You're watching right now the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show that is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Get ready to smile. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome to the Campus Academy Private School, where every student is celebrated for their individuality. With personalized curriculum, students unlock their potential, growing into confident learners. At the Campus Academy, we give teachers the freedom to create dynamic classrooms where every student's voice is heard. Discover the difference. Enroll your child today and watch them thrive.
I'm always on the go. But with the Kinetic Credit Union app, Kinetic is always with me. The Kinetic mobile app is virtual banking at its best. With the Kinetic mobile app, I can easily send and receive money, make a deposit, pay some bills, and I can even open up a new account, all from my phone. And I can monitor all my accounts in one place, all on the go. The Kinetic mobile app, energized banking at its best.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
Welcome back, everyone, to Georgia Alabama Sports Live show. And it's Thrift, Barringer, Richard Holdridge. Time for unsolicited hot take. And we're going to go ahead and get into what's going on, what's happening, who's doing it, who did it.
What's the haps?
So Minnesota took care of Golden State. Nothing really to talk about there. When Steph Curry went down, we knew that this series was done. And that was it. They just – Kuminga, I commend him for his effort. If he gets playing time and finally Kirk can believe in him, I actually like Jonathan Kuminga. He had back-to-back games of over 20 points off the bench, but they're just not the same team without Steph Curry, obviously. And I really like what I've seen from Julius Randle in these playoffs. He's proved a lot of people wrong. I'm telling you, that Randle for Karl-Anthony Towns maybe one of the first NBA trades we've seen in a long time in which both teams benefited from the trade, because now both teams potentially could be in the conference finals. Now, the other one, which is Denver and the OKC, I lost my train of thought there. They're actually playing here tonight, and they're actually on right now, Richard. So that score to that game is the Nuggets are up by 5 early in the second quarter. That's going to 7, so we'll talk about that in just a moment. I did want to talk about the other series. Again, Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell wasn't fully healthy. Garland, he was a shell of himself. Mobley missed a game. And this Cleveland team was good. They won 64 games, Richard, but the Pacers were just a horrible matchup. And I like the Pacers starting 5. Neesmith, Nembhard, Miles Turner. Who am I missing? Tyrese Halliburton. I forgot that. And Benedict Mathurin. Pascal Siakam. Benedict Mathurin comes off the bench, but then you got Siakam. I mean, this team has got so many elite players that play good defense, can hit shots. They know how to run the system of Rick Carlisle. They're well coached, and they're back in the conference championship for the second consecutive year. Boston, Tatum's out. I hate the Achilles injury. He probably won't come back till next year, probably January before he comes back. Really debilitating. But even if he was healthy, I still had the Knicks winning this series. I got Knicks and Pacers, and I got Timberwolves taking on. I just think if the Nuggets win tonight, they're going to go Game 7, and they're going to win because they got Jokic. And no offense to Shai Gilgeous, and when the money's on the line, give me Jokic. Give me your thoughts so far in these playoffs, because we potentially could have a Timberwolves Pacers NBA Finals. You're talking about weird. I would prefer right now all the teams left, Ant-Man in New York. I would enjoy that, and I think it would help the ratings. But throw the ratings out right now. It's just about who's playing best, and look who's still alive.
Well, first of all, I don't have a milk carton with me because I would have used it as a prop. Missing playoff Jimmy. Where was he for Golden State? Where was this Jimmy Butler that carried the Miami Heat to 2 NBA Finals? Yeah, he was missing. But I actually think the Timberwolves going back to the Western Conference Finals 2 straight years, they have got to get to the finals. Anthony Edwards has got to find a way, whether it's OKC or Denver. I think Minnesota beats either one of them. And as far as the Celtics and the Knicks series, you don't have Jason Tatum. You're the Knicks. I don't care if it's in Boston. You got to close out that series. You cannot let Boston hang around because Boston has so much depth. You can have a player like Derek White drop 36. And Jaylen Brown, I know he has struggled in the playoffs, but now with Tatum out, this is Jaylen Brown's team. Kristaps Porzingis, you got Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench. Boston has depth, and they know how to get it done. If they beat New York at the Garden in Game 6, I would not be shocked if the Knicks blow this 3-1 lead and the Celtics ended up winning it in 7. The Pacers, go ahead.
You know, if they do that, Rich, for one, the Knicks should be ashamed of themselves, and I don't know if they ever will overcome it. Number 2, even if they do win that, Celtics are not going to beat this Pacers team without Tatum. So we could see the Indiana Pacers in the championship. Could Rick Carlisle win a championship with a team that nobody thought could win it? Remember what he did with Dallas when they beat Miami? Could that be this year's Pacers team? They've gotten hot and hitting shots. Remember how that Mavericks team, guys were shooting the lights out. J.J. Barea, who was killing it. And then you had Deshaun Stevenson, obviously the Jet Terry, Dirk winning his MVP. Guys like Brian Cardinal, who came off and the custodian would hit shots. That's what they call Brian Cardinal, the damn custodian. And then Tyson Chandler's defense, man. Sean Marion locking down LeBron. I mean, when you looked at the team's roster, you weren't thinking championship, but they got hot at the right time. That could be the Pacers this year by the same coach that did it with the Mavericks and Rick Carlisle. So that's why I want the Knicks to make it. For one, I think Knicks-Pacers would be fun. It would remind you of those Reggie Miller days. And then with this being the last year that TNT is having the NBA playoff, they're going to have Reggie Miller call a Knicks-Pacers. That is how it should be. So please, Nick, get a win on Friday. I'm praying you do against in the Garden. But if the Pacers do, right now, I think the best team playing is the Pacers. I think the most talented team still left right now, I'd probably go OKC, but I don't care about talent when it's about who's playing best and then who has the best player, and that's Denver. Would not be surprised if Denver end up making it with Rick Adelman's son, David Adelman, as the coach. What were you going to say, though, about the Pacers, Richard?
That they're flying under the radar. They have a chance to make it to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2000. And I'll be honest with you, that was the last time I thought that group of guys for the Pacers was a championship caliber team. And then Rick Carlisle coached the Pacers in the early 2000s, and that group with Ron Artest, Jermaine O'Neal, Danny Granger, I thought that group was going to be a championship team. I want to see the Pacers win a championship just because they had several runs before where they didn't get it done. I mean, they ran into Michael Jordan's Bulls in the 1998 Eastern Conference Finals, but they took them to 7 games. And then that same group of guys, with Chris Mullin, Rick Smits, Dale Davis, Reggie Miller, went to the finals and lost to the Lakers in 2000. And then after that, I mean, they had a little bit of a drop off, but 2004, I felt like that was a championship team that if Artest doesn't get suspended in the Malice at the Palace, I think the Pacers end up winning the championship that year. I honestly feel that. So I really want to see this for Indiana. They reached the Eastern Conference Finals last year. I think if it is Pacers Knicks, I like the Pacers to end up winning that series.
Yeah, I do too, Richard. And I'm going to say I would love Knicks Timberwolves, but I think we could potentially get Nuggets and Pacers. Think about that, or OKC Pacers. Is that moving the
Boy,
needle?
the Midwest would be so excited about that.
Is that moving the needle? I don't know about that. All right, the NFL came out with its schedule, and how about the Atlanta Falcons getting 5 primetime games?
I love it.
I love it too, and
Absolutely.
I'm looking right now. They got second week of the season. They are Sunday night at Minnesota. This was supposed to be Kirk Cousins' game back, and
I don't think that's going to be his game back.
he will be playing in it. They also got Monday Night Football, Buffalo at home, and the next week is against your 49ers at the 49ers. We'll see Michael Williams there.
How many times they're going to call Kyle Shanahan blowing the – because here's the thing. That is a game where they're going to be talking up Kyle Shanahan. That is the Kyle Shanahan Bowl. I mean, the announcers are going to mention Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Richard. And I've been really impressed.
Remember the last time they played at Levi? Remember Julio Jones was an inch away from. And the call was reversed, and the Falcons upset the 49ers. That was back in 2019.
Did. And then Navarro Bowman pass interference the Falcons in 2012 and Roddy White. We won't get into that. So then you got Monday Night Football against the Buffalo October 13th. You got Sunday night against Minnesota September 14th. You got San Francisco the week after Buffalo at night, NBC Sunday night. And then another prime video on Thursday night at Tampa Bay. And then you got it the second to last week of the season against the Rams at home. So there are 2 Monday Night Football. There are 2 Sunday Night Football and a Thursday night against Tampa Bay. So apparently the NFL is ready to showcase some of the Falcons' talent and are thinking big things. So please follow through and make a playoff game. Come on.
Thrift, that significance, the Rams and Falcons, does Georgia fans go to that game because Matthew Stafford's the quarterback and Stetson Bennett is the third string quarterback? I'm just throwing that out there.
That could be a question for sure on that. Initial thought, though, when looking at this, I think Tampa Bay, yes, but then also Tampa Bay. I feel like that's a win. At Minnesota, we know how good Minnesota was last year.
That's a win.
But Sam Darnold, I mean, I don't know.
Well, Sam Darnold's on the Seahawks now. So
that's what I'm saying. He's not there. It's not him. So I'm going to say 2-0. At Carolina, 3-0. Washington at home, 4-0. At least 3-1 in that first 4 stretch. The next 4 games, you got Buffalo at home, at San Fran, Miami at home, and at New England. That's another, I think, needs to be 3-1 stretch. You should be 6-2 in your first 8 games. Indiana, Carolina, New Orleans, New York Jets, Seattle. That should be at least 3 wins out of those 5 games. So if you get that, let's say you're 9-5 at this point, and then you end it with Tampa Bay, Arizona, the Rams, and New Orleans. I'm thinking 12-5 at worst. This is a very favorable schedule. There is no reason why the Falcons should not make the playoffs with this schedule.
It's an easy
Even
schedule.
with their primetime games, it is a lot of winnable games. This is just quick thought. No reason for this. And I'm sick of it, man. I need to see progression from Penix. I need the defense being lights out under a guy that is known as a defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris. If not, I'm ready to make the move and get the guy that we need here to win a championship.
I agree with you, Thrift. I think they're going to go 12-5. This schedule is way too easy. I don't see Penix losing you games like Kirk Cousins did last year, like Desmond Ridder did 2 years ago. You remember the last couple of years, the Falcons have had easy schedules. It was a layup for them to at least go 11-6 and 12-5, and they end up finishing 7-10, 8-9. No, this is the year. This schedule is so easy for them. They cannot mess this up.
Come on, please.
But the thing is, the Buccaneers also have an easy schedule. What about the progression of Baker Mayfield? Does Emeka Egbuka be that number 2 receiver alongside Mike Evans, who got the bag? If Tampa Bay has like a breakout season, the Falcons are going to be chasing them. I was listening to 92.9 The Game when I was up in Atlanta. They say, would you rather have the Falcons win the division or win 10 games and finish behind Tampa Bay and make it as a wild card team on the road. I mean, hypotheticals, that could happen too. But yeah, people want to see the Falcons win the division because the Saints are terrible. Carolina, even though Bryce Young has improved as a quarterback, they're going to be terrible. I think it's going to be Falcons and Buccaneers in the division.
I think you're right on that. And by the way, the Braves just hit 500. So congratulations to the Atlanta Bravos. The problem is they're trying to keep up with the New York Mets. The bats are starting to come around a little bit. Acuna is probably not going to play for the Clingstones. They're going to probably skip that. Speaking of the Clingstones, last time I heard were they winning? Last time I saw Richard, I don't know.
Yeah, so far they
won 2 in a row, and they're 3 games behind 500. So they're trying to keep up with Biloxi, who's now in first base. And
by the way, Thrift, next week, I want to correct myself. I said they're playing the Montgomery for 6 games. They're actually playing Montgomery for 7 games because that rain out on Sunday to start the season is going to be a doubleheader on Thursday, the 22nd, which is going to start at 5:30. So, 7 games that you can watch the Clingstones next week.
Clingstones and Knoxville are tied 1-1 right now as they are in the top of the 10th. They're in extra innings. And in the top of the 10th, Clingstone's got 2 on and no out. And Paolini is up the bat, who is 0 for 3. So y'all go tune in and watch that, and hopefully the Clingstones can get a big win. We want to say thank y'all so much for watching. We've had a lot of fun here tonight. We'll be on tomorrow at the Sports Visions Morning Show. And from Richard Holdridge, I'm Thrift Barringer saying thank y'all so much. We'll see you next time here on the Georgia, Alabama Sports Live Show.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you for watching the Georgia, Alabama Sports Live Show presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. You're ready to smile.